be your first time doing it. And this will be also an amazing opportunity for you to actually realize, wait, is this actually something I want to do? And this will mean you save your time post-qualification, post-graduation, and you'll find there's also very niche areas within your course. So if you're studying, for example, finance, is it investment? Is it banking? Is it business finance? There's so many different, is it accounting? There's so many different areas to it. And taking that work placement will really, for perhaps the first time, give you an idea, is this what I want to do with my life? Is this something I enjoy? Or is now the time to make a change and to slightly change what I'm doing? And that is, again, a valuable opportunity. There's other obvious benefits. If you're doing the 1 year work placement, more times than not, you'll also be paid. So this will also be, particularly if you're doing the full year, you'll be paid a salary. And this obviously goes a long way towards improving your quality of life here in the UK and studying. Gain new perspectives of your career choices. So this touches on previously what I mentioned in terms of it being an opportunity for you to discover what you like at work. But another advantage of this is you'll tend to be in quite a big work environment. You'll be working in, Brunel works with a wide range of companies, from the biggest names to some small family companies as well. But what you'll find is when you're in a work environment, you're exposed to different departments. If you may have gone there to work in the human resources department, but you'll also be seeing the digital marketing department, and you'll be seeing the supply chain department. So this will also give you an idea of a wider perspective of different career choices. You may be in a company, and you may see, actually, you know what, this is actually what I want to do, and this is what I like as well. So it exposes you to a wider work environment where you can actually see different types of careers. And finally, this is something I'll touch on more, and this is something which I know personally from a lot of students I've worked with find this to be a huge benefit. It develops your key employability skills. So what that means is a crucial skill, a skill that is overlooked and as not often expected students to know, is the actual applying for a role, the actual steps you need to take to allow yourself to separate from other possible candidates, the skills to allow you to present yourself in the best, most appropriate light when applying for roles. This is the skills that having a work placement in your university will give you. You'll work with our award-winning work placement and development team, whose job it is to help you to find these work placements. And that will improve your, again, I'll go into more details later, but that will improve your interview skills, your application skills. If there's any tests during your interview skills, we'll train you on this as well. So this skill set you're developing of how to apply for a job and how to locate a job, how to identify the right one for you, and how to apply for it successfully is invaluable. So these, I would say, are the main benefits of taking a work placement. I think I think it's a wonderful opportunity. I think there's most universities, and I'm talking on behalf of Brunel here, we don't charge students a tuition fee for this year. There's a small admin fee you pay, which I think it's around about £1,000 or £1,200 for the year, and that's it. And obviously you're earning money in that time. So there's very few drawbacks. There's very, very few drawbacks to taking this. So this is just a wide range of the companies we work with. And the reason I put these here, I mean, I'm sure a lot of these names you'll be very familiar with as well, some not so much. The reason I've mentioned it is it's very interesting when you work with students in the work placement department and industry. You may be straight away thinking, okay, I want to work for Intel, I want to work for Disney, I want to work for Apple, I want to work for Canons, I want to work for Coca-Cola. These big multinational brands with amazing brands and amazing opportunities, and they are fantastic. They are amazing to work for. It will be amazing on your CV. It will give you a wonderful exposure to the working world. However, I always say personally, it's not necessarily about the company you're going for. The main thing you need to do is securing a placement, because what you'll find, we work with a lot of smaller companies and a lot of local companies as well. So if you're working for a Disney on your work placement, then fantastic, that's amazing. It's going to be wonderful for your career and your CV. But how much are you actually going to be doing there? How much actual work are you going to do? It depends on the exact department you're in. But if you were to work with a small accountancy firm located near Brunel, a small family firm with 3 employees, you know, although it may not be the biggest name and it may not be a name that everybody's aware, for that 1 year, you will be doing a lot of actual work. So there are benefits to working for these huge companies, and there are also benefits for working for some of the smaller companies, some of the more niche ones, local ones you may not have heard of. So I always stress to students, by all means, apply for the placements available at all the big names, but please do also consider some of the local ones, because going back to what I mentioned before about the actual benefits of a work placement is to get an actual tangible experience, is to actually see if this is what I want to do. So if you're doing a product design placement at Bosch, fantastic. If you're doing a product design placement at one of the smaller consultancies here in London, then you know for that 1 year, you're going to be doing very hands-on, very relative work. So that's a huge benefit there. So to step with, that's just something I wanted to mention as well. Again, we work with big companies, but spread yourself when you're making these applications. And by all means, look at some of the more local ones, some of the less well-known names, because there are benefits for that as well. So we've touched on why a work placement is amazing. Now we're going to talk a little bit more about the actual process. So the first thing to note, and I'm going to use, again, my university, Brunel University, London, as a guide here, but I'm sure this will apply across the board to a number of different universities. They will have their own work placement department. It will come in different names. It'll be called a careers department. Brunel, we call it the professional development center, because it's more than just getting a job, it's developing you professionally. This is if you want to set your own company, for example, is something we help with. It's an award-winning department here at Brunel. They're one of the every year on year, they're ranked as one of the very best university work placements in the country. So the first thing to know is you will have a dedicated department, and within that department, you'll have dedicated people who look after international students, and then you have other people look after the home students. So you have people who are trained exactly in working with students from overseas. They will be there to help you. So they won't make applications for you. That's not what we do. The job is not to, you need to apply, you need to interview. And I think it's important I mention at this point is a work placement is never guaranteed. You may hear this sometimes, we guarantee work placements, we do this. Essentially, a work placement is a real job. For that 1 year time, if it's an undergraduate course, if it's for that 1 year, again, we do work placements for our postgraduate students, which can be 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year. Regardless of what it is, you're working for a real company. And it will never be a case where a university can force somebody onto a company, say, hey, look, you have to employ this person. It's a real company, they're going to get to choose. So a work placement is never, ever 100% guaranteed. It's something which is a two-way street. We will give you all the support and guidance and help from our side, but from your side, what I find is the very students who secure the very best work placements are students who tend to be the most proactive, tend to be the most focused, tend to meet with the work placement department regularly, really put themselves out there. So it's a two-way street in that regard. So what would happen, and I'm going to use it as an example, I'm going to assume you're an undergraduate student who's coming for a 4-year course. So that's a 3-year study and a 1-year work placement. In most cases, and at Brunel, that work placement will be your 3rd year. So you do your 1st year, 2nd year, you work for a year, and then you'll come back for your final year. So assuming you've applied for the 4-year option, the work placement, you will get the professional development department, they will reach out to you. They'll reach out to you probably in the beginning of your 2nd year, if not toward the end of your 1st year. And they'll invite you into a meeting so they can sit with you and understand a little bit more about you, what kind of work placement you're interested in, what your career focus is, what your aspirations are. So that will be that initial meeting. Once that initial meeting's gone, this is where that two-person approach happens, where you will need to be as engaged as they are, because there's a huge amount of students vying for work placements, not just in one university, but all the universities around the UK and London. So this is where you'll need to regularly meet with them and you make use of all the resources they have. So the first step is once they've met with you and once you spoke about what career you're interested in, what course you're studying, what kind of things you want to do, the first thing they'll do, they'll start working on you. So we'll be looking at your CV. You'll be looking at things like your LinkedIn profile, cover letters, application, all these things, everything that goes into making an application before you make the application, they'll cover that. So this means that when you start preparing and you start making your applications, you're already ready. You've already been trained on how to improve and develop your CV, how to make the most of a LinkedIn profile, how to make it most effective. If there's any testing involved in your industry. So the first thing they'll do, they'll work on you. And this is an invaluable skill. This is something very rarely people will do. If you don't do a work placement and you graduate from your course and if you stay in the UK, stay in London, if you come back to Singapore, this is not really a service you'll find freely available to you, where you'll get this approach. So it's another huge benefit of taking the work placement. So once we've worked on your CV, developed you, and you're ready to apply, the first thing you do is you'll start making applications. So this works in two ways. We have a wide list of companies we work with, as I mentioned before, and some of these are preset work placements. So we work with, for example, IBM, and we work with the AI department, for example. So we will have some pre-listed work placements we can show you. Secondly, we'll show you, okay, this is where you need to go to find suitable work placements. And you'll be expected to search, look, and apply from yourself in that regard. Again, this is where you get to develop these skills, but having someone support you at the same time. So once, either from one of our list ones, something you found by yourself, once you have this, you start making applications. The idea, apply for as many as possible. You'll learn rejection, you apply for 20 work placements and you'll hear back from 3 and 2 will say no, and you'll finally get one with an interview. Again, a crucial skill to pick up there. Once you've got the work placement, once you've got the interview, the next step is we prepare you for that interview. You'll go through a wide range of assessment course at Brunel to make sure that you're ready for what an interview is. Because remember, you're working for a real company. They're not going to hire somebody to work and perform for them or they're not comfortable with. So we will develop your interview skills. If there's any assessment centers for your job, all these will be developed and developed for you and in you. Then once you have that, you apply for the job and you secure your position. And then you would think that's the end of it. It's not. So even whilst you're on your work placement, you'll continually get support from the work development team. They'll check in on you, make sure you're happy, make sure you're supported, make sure everything's going as you planned. Also, your academic personal tutor will also check in on you and will also make sure that everything's going well. So even on your work placement, if it's the undergraduate and it's the 1 year, you get regular touch points with the university. It was never a case of, hey, okay, bye, go, we'll see you in a year. Not at all. You have lots of support throughout the year. So these are just a few case studies. I've got a video to play in a moment as well. And these are some students who in the last few years have secured work placements here from Brunel. The first one's a very interesting one, Thomas. As well as within our professional development center, we have something called the Innovation and Entrepreneurs Hub. This is because not everybody wants to go for the conventional route where they work for a company for a year. You have people who have their own ideas, and this not just business students, this is the design students, this is engineering students, computer science students, is again a wide background. They want to have this year, they want to have this support, but they don't necessarily want to go for a conventional one. They want to try it themselves. And this is where we have a specific hub where we can support with this. So this is where we support you. We have scholarship schemes. We have funding available if you can apply for, and we have obviously technical support we can give you to help you use this year to set up your own company, work as a consultant, whatever it may be. So we have this alongside the more traditional routes. We have our own Innovation and Entrepreneurs Hub, if that's what you're wanting to go for. Then we have Miranda, who did her work placement. She was a mathematics graduate, and she did her work placement in Microsoft. And she speaks about how much that developed her again, the technical analytical skills, also learning how to build relationships at work. if you're in a client-facing relationship, or if it's teamwork, these are skills you develop. And then finally, we have Zapanaya here, who was a computer science department student, who worked with the BBC here in London. And again, it allowed him to, I know he's now got on to work for them. So he's graduated, he's had his work placement, come back for his final year, and he's gone back into them as a full-time employee. So we spoke a little bit about how work placements work in terms of booking meetings with your advisor, going through all the skills you need to do, applying for a work, securing a work, which is the aim. And then one thing I didn't mention is, once you've secured a role, we have another session with you, and this allows you to understand how to accept a role. It may sound very simple, but this is often a really important time where you can negotiate. If it's a salary, if it's a working pattern, if it's hours, this is, again, a slightly overlooked time, and this is something we can advise you on and help you on as well. So if it's okay with you, and I hope we don't have any technical problems, I'm just going to play 2 short videos. These are 2 of our recent graduates, one from computer science and one from mechanical engineering. And they're just going to, again, give you talk about their experience. They're both quite short videos. I'm hoping we don't have any technical issues here.
Hi everyone, my name is Brandon and I'm a 3rd year student here at Brunel University studying computer science with AI as my specialism. I did my placement year in 2019 at a company called AWIN. They're a core component in the world of affiliate marketing, which provides opportunities for small and large businesses to grow. I wanted to work for this company because of their modern work culture, which embraces technology, their benefits and care to employees, and overall, they learn.
Sorry guys, can you just confirm if you can hear and see the video? If you can just, if somebody can just put in the chat, if you can hear and see the video. Perfect. Can you can hear, can you see the video as well?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, but the video can't move. Okay, give me a moment. I'm just going to see if I can work out why you can't see it as well. Sorry, bear with me one moment. Sorry about this.
Hi everyone, my name is Brandon and I'm a 3rd year student here at Brunel University studying computer science with AI as my specialism. I did my placement year in 2019 at a company called AWIN. They're a core component in the world of affiliate marketing, which provides opportunities for small and large businesses.
Sorry, give me one moment.
I wanted to work for this company because of their modern work culture, which embraces technology, their benefits and care to employees, and overall, their learning prospects, which sparks innovation. I chose to do a placement year quite simply because of experience. Not only does it make a graduate more employable, but the opportunities it provides are worthwhile. When you start applying for a job, you first need your CV. Depending on the company, you may also need to do their online application. With AWIN, it was fairly straightforward. I emailed them my CV, and shortly after, I got a phone call saying they were interested in having me for an assessment day. Myself and a handful of other applicants were assessed with a technical test, a group exercise, and a one-on-one interview towards the end. Fast forward a few days, I got a call saying I got the job. Throughout the whole process, I sought guidance from Mo, my placement advisor at the PDC, where he gave me helpful advice on my CV, tips for the interviews, and practice for the assessment days. At AWIN, I was a business intelligence intern, where I was introduced to the role of a data analyst. Database management is fundamental in this role, which meant I learned lots in SSMS, writing SQL queries. But on the reporting side, we use tools such as Power BI, Tableau, and SSRS. My favorite element of placement year was the social environment. There's always something happening at AWIN. You can join groups for social events, charities, or competitions, and every year they hire out a venue just to host the AWIN party. Met lots of people and even had the chance to visit Berlin for a business trip. Provided me with an opportunity to develop my technical ability and confidence, which no doubt will come in handy for future professional prospects.
Okay, guys, I'm really sorry. I know you couldn't see the video there. I think perhaps because it's recording, it's not being I'm not able to share the video. I have your contact details. So what I'll do is I'll make sure I send the link to both videos to you, and you can watch them in your own time. But that brings me to the end of my presentation and to the end of today's session in regards to work experience. Thank you so much for everyone joining you. If you have any questions about studying in the UK, work placements, please let me know. You can put that in the chat box, or by all means, just feel free to unmute yourself and you can just ask me any questions you have.